Morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. Today is Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. This is episode 1110 for you binary lovers. What would that be? Episode, hold on, 1, 3, 7, 15. So episode 14, actually, it kind of works out well, right? 1110 is 14 in binary. And it's April 14th. Oh my God, is this a coincidence? Or is this the second sign of the apocalypse? Good morning, everybody. We are going to be crushing it. If you're looking to stay current on the top cyber news stories of the day while having a little bit of seasoning of entertainment and good times, well, then you're in the right place, because this is Simply Cyber's daily cyber threat brief podcast. I am your host, Dr. Gerald Auger, and we are coming to you live from the Buffer Auger Flow studio here in the Low Country, and we're going to be ripping through the top 8 stories in cyber. I'm going to go beyond those headlines, give you value, and the Simply Cyber community above me is going to be delivering support, inclusion, and empowerment for each of you. Getting it done. Let's cook, baby. All right, we are pumped, we are locked, we are loaded, and we are ready to fire on all cylinders to deliver value to you. Now, you can go through the top stories of the day yourself, but so why would you choose Simply Cyber's daily cyber threat brief? Well, let me remind all you long-timers and introduce to the first-timers that we go beyond the headlines. I've got 20 plus years of experience, and many of us in chat have tons of experience to speak from. And the stories themselves are surface level, and that's fine. Oh, this company got ransomware. Oh, this piece of policy and legislation came out. Oh, this APT has got an uptick in activity in Southeast Asia. Fine. But how can we take this information and go beyond to level ourselves up as professionals? Because I got to tell you, the most important thing that we can do for ourselves is develop ourselves and make us the most valuable, marketable cybersecurity professional we can be. Because spoiler alert, you can love your company can be like your family, but dude, you'll be the first person they lay off if there is cash flow issues, if profits aren't being met, if revenues dipping, right? I mean, shoot, if there's just no money to pay you, they got to make cuts, right? So I want you to be in the best position for you to be able to crush it. And if you do love your job, holler to you. By going through the top stories of the day, you can be right on top of emerging topics and be able to bring them to your stakeholders, your IT people, your business, and be the person who's like always Johnny or Jill on the spot with the top news. So that's the plan. That's what we do. We do it every day, 1,000+ episodes in a row. There's no stopping this train. We are Snowpiercer. We are fully going. Shout out to Neckbeard with the squad membership. Thanks, Neckbeard. I'm feeling myself today, guys. You know what I'm going to do? Let's give some memberships out. Boom. Bro! Gifted subs coming down the pike. Open your gullet. It's like an ice luge your freshman year of college. Just let the Goldschlager slide on down. Ice cold. Don't worry about the... Don't worry about the spinal meningitis scare the next morning. All right, guys. Hey, listen, if this is your first episode, drop a hashtag first timer in chat. Hashtag first timer in chat. We love welcoming our first timers because we want you to be welcome. We want you to know that this is an awesome space, a safe space where you can ask questions, get answers. Z-Myth with gifted subs, following the path. What's up, Z-Myth? Thank you. Listen, if you're one of the people who's picked up Z-Myth's gifted subs like Mad Villain 11, you can thank Z-Myth. Dude, Z-Myth, I got a Simply CyberCon shirt for you for doing the CTF. It's in my garage. I've got it for you. All right. First timers in chat, hashtag first timers. If you are not aware of it, every episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is worth half a CPE, a continuing professional education credit. That's right. So this is an instructor-led webinar, and it's 1 hour long. So we say half a CPE, saying that half the show is educational value, half is entertainment value. Split it right down the middle. Ad tech, we'll see you a little bit later. We'll be here. Hey, we got Sachin Buruj Pate. Sachin, first timer. Welcome to the party, Sachin.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Love it. All right, so dude, say what's up in chat. Grab a screenshot. What is this now? The Verzags, THEUNV. Not sure how to say it, but welcome to the party, first timer.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Oh yeah, we got first timers for days. Get in here, make room. Mad Destroyer, coffee cup, cheers. All right, guys, CPEs, say what's up. Grab a screenshot. Simple as that. File it away once a year. Count them up. That's what's up. All right. Now, every single episode, this insanity, this like all of this insanity that's going on over here, down here, up there, all of it isn't possible without two things. One, you showing up every day makes it happen. If you didn't show up, I wouldn't show up, frankly. Okay? So you fuel the show, and I genuinely appreciate it. The other thing that fuels it, it's a business, guys, so it's got to have financial support. It's just the reality of the situation. So I am super proud to not just take money from sponsors, but to share with you partners that are doing amazing things in cybersecurity. And I stand by. I really like these businesses, which is such a double win for me and for the community. Let me tell you about Flare Academy. You want some free education? Go to simplycyber.io/flare now. Simplycyber.io/flare. Flare is doing a two-part. It's a double shot. Wah, wah, wah. Cue the DJ horn. It's a double shot. The evolution of identity security. Listen to me. You wouldn't know this. Identity security is so hot right now, they couldn't contain it in one show.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
It literally bust free of the constraints. You can't stop identity security. You can only hope to contain it. Flare Academy is bringing you a double shot from directories to AI agents on April 15th, tomorrow at noon to 2. You're going to get the age of directories and Kerberos. And then, as if you needed to get a towel, dab your brow, catch your breath, boom! Part 2, the token error everywhere. Wednesday, April 29th. You only got 2 weeks to get your stuff in order. Get your final arrangements in order because this is going to be a juggernaut. You can sign up for one or both of these. I recommend both since it costs $0. You put it on your calendar, you show up or you don't. Guys, as a practitioner, I'm telling you right now, if you want to add value to you as an individual contributor, understanding identity security in the modern, IT infrastructure, cloud, hybrid, agentic AI, vendors coming in, ephemeral access. Dude, there's a lot more than just here's your AD account, have a good day. Way more than it, okay? And this right here is 4 hours, amazing value. Yes, you get CPEs. Snake0085, you get CPEs for days on this one. You get 4 CPEs because it's 4 hours of training. I'm not making this up, dude. This is like a sick opportunity. And for free. I mean, if you want, we can charge you. But why? People need to get off, people need to decouple the cost of something having a direct correlation to the value of something. Cost and value are not related. You can have things that are free that are incredibly valuable. You can have things that cost a lot of money that suck. Go look at half the boot camps out there. 15 grand, guaranteed 6-figure job. No, it's just 15 grand. You're guaranteed to lose that. Also want to say holla to Anti-Siphon Training. Anti-Siphon Training is disrupting the traditional cybersecurity training industry by offering high-quality, cutting-edge education to everyone. And right now, if you go to antisyphontraining.com and you want that this Friday you can learn from Doc Blackburn, take a workshop for only $25, dude. That's table stakes. 4 hours for $25, my guy. That's $6 an hour. That's like half of minimum wage, right? That's a cup of coffee, a nice Starbucks cup. But still, how to think like a cybersecurity defender. This class, pretty dope workshop. Not only are you going to get hands-on exercises and perform OSINT investigations, You're also going to be kicking it with other like-minded cybersecurity professionals in chat. Anti-siphon training is phenomenal. If you haven't done an anti-siphon training, definitely recommend it. Again, $25, 4 hours. You get 4 CPEs, and you get some hands-on skills. Thank you very much. Finally, another sponsor, the final sponsor, one that I really, really enjoy. I've been working with them for a long time. I actually sent the guy I've been working with for years over there. I sent him a Harry and David gift basket a couple weeks ago, just because I really like what they're doing and I enjoy working with them. ThreatLocker continues to crush it. They have been doing application by deny by default on endpoints forever and doing it well. They've moved to the cloud recently, which was the big reveal at Zero Trust World. Let's hear from them. And then we're going to melt faces. All you first-timer, go put SPF 3000 on your face, because when we come back, I'm absolutely going to torch it. We're lighting the candle. We're melting faces. It's going to be dope. Believe me. By the way, all sponsor links are in the description below. Let's go. That was a misfire. Let's go. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. ThreatLocker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Heroes support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how ThreatLocker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com/dailycyber. All right, what's up, everybody? Guess what? It's time to get to work. Do me a favor, sit back. You first-timers, relax. And for the Robert Hendricksons, the Dream Logics, the Neckbeards, and the Devin Grady's of the world, let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over all of us in an awesome wave. I will see you at the mid-roll. What's the mid-roll, Jerry? The mid-roll is a fun little activity where we're going to do something. And on Tuesdays, I'm going to share a little bit about myself and see if we can vibe on it. The coffee is flowing. I feel like, you know that scene with He-Man where he says, I have the power? Hold on one second. I have the power. And for you listening on audio only, I'm bringing up the picture of He-Man as he summons the power of his sword from in front of Castle Grayskull, which made no sense why he was in front of the castle. But this is how I feel right now with all the coffee flowing through my body. I am going to be delivering a scathing cybersecurity webinar right now. Let's go.
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. I'm Sarah Lane. Claude Mythos previews cyber capabilities. The AI Security Institute reports that Claude Mythos preview shows a significant jump in cyber capabilities, successfully completing advanced capture the flag tasks and autonomously executing multi-step attack simulations that previously required days of human work. The model solved a 32-step simulated enterprise attack in 30% of runs and outperformed prior systems, though tests were conducted in simplified environments without real-world defenses. The results highlight growing risks from AI-assisted attacks on weak systems, and stronger security practices and defenses are increasingly urgent.
Yeah.
Anodot.
All right, hey, KY Cypher dropping a 5-banger on the super chat. Go get you some coffee. Thank you very much for that. Guys, I mean, this is like, if you haven't been paying attention, okay, I know that this is the Mythos Claude one. This is the AI model that they went to release, and then like they a public a PR comms got leaked or whatever, and they held it back. And basically there's a collection of like Fortune 500 companies that are getting early access to it.
Shall we play a game?
For the benefit of cybersecurity, we are focusing on Mythos's capability to do offensive security operations. It was able to do a CTF challenge. Guys, with all due respect, I like CTFs. I think CTFs are a great way to have fun with cyber adjacent topics. It's a fun way to meet other people, right? Like Code Brew, me and Haircut Fish sat at a table at Wild West Hackin' Fest last year and dinked around with a CTF. But like a CTF is in no way ever a simulation of what you would be doing in a offensive security engagement, right? It's not, CTFs are not red team light. Now, having said that, it does not take away from the fact that the AI could crush a CTF. It also says it was able to do multi-step cyber attack simulations. Now, here's my thing. The concern is like, is this going to replace pen testers, right? And frankly, it will address some pen testing stuff. I think what'll end up happening is there's going to be I guess let me report on this, and then I will give you my hot take, my tinfoil hat. And again, if you haven't been following me, I know there's some first timers in chat. If you haven't been following me, if you go to simplycyber.io/books, the first book that comes up, this is my library. This is my reading list. This is when people say, what are you reading or what do you recommend? This is the list, okay? This book right here, The Coming Wave, I bought this book March 22nd, 2024. You can see it right there. By the way, I'm very transparent with this stuff, okay? You can get it for $14 right now, which is a steal. Like the guy who wrote this book isn't interested in making money. He's interested in getting the information out. As far as I'm concerned, this is like, to me, I've recommended this book. I've never said what I'm about to say publicly before, but to me, this book is effectively a manifesto for how humans need to be thinking about the impact of AI, not the newest model, not Anthropic versus OpenAI, like the macro societal impact of AI and the frequency at which it's updating and the disruption. And disruption almost doesn't even like qualify for what it's going to do and what it's been doing. This book, in my opinion, is it's the answers to the test. And spoiler alert, you're not going to like all the answers to the test, but it's brutal, it's raw, it is objectively honest. So Claude Mythos, 30% of the times you give it an enterprise environment, it can achieve the objective, which they don't really say. Like, is it getting domain admin? Is it getting access to some type of, crown jewel or something like that? But to me, it doesn't matter. It's 30% today. If you look at all these charts are up and to the right, up and to the right. None of them are dipping. None of them are flatlining, right? Number goes up. Now, all you Bitcoin people are probably getting frothed up at the mouth right now, like scratching your neck, feeling good. This is not a Bitcoin value chart, okay? This is the way AIs are performing, up and to the right. So it obviously would support the fact that, like, in 1 year, it's going to continue up and to the right. In 1 year, instead of 30% of environments, it's 45%, 60%, right? And I know people talk about this AI bubble popping and stuff. I don't see it, man. Honestly, the only way I see AI bubble popping is if we run into an energy situation, right? Like, but in my opinion, there's too much value, like from a revenue, from a straight cash, homie.
Straight cash, homie.
There's too much value in AI to like let a little thing like power slow you down. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Anyways, I also think once Mythos becomes a little bit more available, here's what I would suspect would happen. Organizations that have crappy security are going to get cracked open instantly. Organizations that have decent security are going to be a little bit more resilient to this, but eventually they're going to have, Claude Mythos, defensive, version of it or whatever to what, like, basically you'll need some type of AI to be instantly, like near instant speed, scanning logs, doing correlations, looking for anomalies, and then either taking action or guiding engineers or analysts to take some action. It's the only way. All right. Mythos Blue. Thank you, Phil Stafford.
Hack leaves breached companies facing extortion.
Ooh.
Attackers linked to shiny hunters.
Isn't Grand Theft Auto 6 just perennially coming out in 6 months? Like, I feel like Grand Theft Auto 6, and I know this is a little bit nerdcore and less cybersecurity, but like for those who don't know, Grand Theft Auto 6 is like Elder Scrolls 6. Like, it's always coming out next year, always next year. So like when next year comes, it's coming out next year. Like it's forever. They say, what does this say? January 2026? Yeah, okay. All right.
Breached business monitoring software maker Anodot, stealing authentication tokens to gain access to customer cloud data and exposing more than a dozen companies to extortion threats. The attackers used the tokens to pull sensitive data from cloud storage platforms like Snowflake, prompting access shutdowns after unusual activity was detected. One affected customer, Rockstar Games, claims the breach had no material impact on its operations.
Oh my God. Okay. So that's another thing, man. Like the burden of being popular, like some third-party company that does business monitoring, whatever that is, right? Business monitoring, a company called Anodot. One of their clients is Rockstar Games, and Rockstar Games wasn't impacted, yet the graphic highlight on this thing is GTA 6. Devin Grady says, are you a GTA nerd or an Elder Scrolls nerd? The answer is yes. Bro. All right. So this is, standard issue, third-party vendor attack. You got to look at your supply chain. Remember, no matter how good your cybersecurity is, when you give data to your third parties, when you give access to your environment to third parties, if they have crappy security, well, guess what? You're about to get got. All I can say is this is a standard issue story. Like, honestly, it's not even worth going into. It is Shiny Hunters, which is noteworthy. Shiny Hunters continues to be at large. I feel like Shiny Hunters is like one of like the Batman villains. Like they're just like at large doing hacks and stuff. Worth noting, their hacks are typically logging in, like they steal credentials either through social engineering or other attack techniques, less technical exploitation. Yeah, you can see here, it says Shiny Hunters in the last year, as far as their TTP goes, Shiny Hunters is focused on companies like Anodot, Gainsight, SalesLoft, which allows their customers to access and analyze large data sets in the cloud in an effort to steal passwords and tokens. So Shiny Hunter's whole bag is getting those creds, which they are I would say they're a AAA threat actor, right? We've heard of Shiny Hunter. Shiny Hunters has done things. I just want to point out, they aren't doing technical exploitation. They are getting creds by either hacking into databases and getting creds, tricking users, calling help desk, whatever. Quick note, Flare, simplycyber.io/Flare. I told you about this during the sponsor ad read. I'm not making it up, dude. Like, they are doing a 2-part 4-hour series on identity security. Do you know why you would want to attend something like this? Because things like this are a reality on a Tuesday in the middle of April. Threat actors are getting massive amounts of creds. And because, TLDR, because this company Anodot has, a user account that allows them to access large data sets, or, the data sets coming from the client site or pushing up in there, whatever it is, that identity is getting compromised, right? So if you understand identity security, you can understand how to restrict those identities to what they need to access only. Least privilege, privileged access management, least use on devices and network endpoints. You picking up what I'm putting down? Guys, I got to tell you, here's the reality. You either love cybersecurity or you don't, and that's fine. You choose your own adventure, and I will support you in however you feel. But you have to understand, there's no easy button. Cybersecurity is hard, and it's very demanding, right? You can't look at identities and be like, oh my God, I just spent all this time hardening the gold load, or the, what do you guys call it? Gold image. I spent all this time configuring the servers and the network endpoints and making sure default creds weren't there. I rolled out MFA. I stood up an MDR service. Oh my God, I'm friggin' tired. And now you're talking about least privilege? How about I just give access to everything? If you have an account, you have an identity, you can just access things. We did a background check. Guess what? It doesn't work that way. If you slack in one area, all you have done is built a wall around the perimeter of your building with 3 sides and not in a triangle format. It's like building a 4-sided wall and leaving one side open, or building a fence around your property and not putting one of the panels up in the fence. Sure, not everybody's going to find the hole, but it's a friggin' hole in your fence. You see what I'm saying? That this is what cybersecurity is. You got to do it.
SSL library flaw enables forged certificate use. A critical vulnerability in the WolfSSL library.
Yeah, listen, Rogue Cyber says gold load. Listen, there's a lot of different terms in cybersecurity. I don't know where it came from or why. When it just, for those who don't know, maybe you're coming into cyber or IT from like a adjacent industry like marketing or something. When you roll out like you don't, like when you stand up images for workstations in your environment, right? You say you got 100 employees. You're not going to let 100 employees go out and buy 100 laptops at Best Buy and stand them up and do whatever they want. No, you have standard applications that your business has approved and uses. You have enterprise applications. You have licenses to worry about. So what you do is IT provisions them, or Justin Gold in some organizations provisions these endpoints. It gets the right stuff on. It's configured properly, and then that standard, right, gets set. And I call it a gold load. Some people call it gold image. Like a standard image is a vanilla build or a vanilla image. Vanilla means like stock from the vendor. Gold image, gold load, gold whatever, that is what is like considered approved for business use. So nobody says gold load. I don't know why I say it. It's just something that I say. So whatever.
Allows improper validation of cryptographic signatures, letting attackers forge certificates and impersonate trusted servers or connections. The flaw affects multiple signature algorithms and could weaken authentication across billions of devices, particularly in embedded and IoT systems. It's been patched in version 5.9.1, and organizations are urged to update quickly to prevent exploitation.
All right.
AP.
So, okay, so this WolfSSL. Ow! I don't know why I said that. Okay. I mean, I know why I said it, because I said the word wolf, but it just felt right. Also, spoiler alert, I have a wolf tattoo on my back. Did you know that? For those who have been long timers, you may know that. You also probably stunned that I have multiple tattoos. All right. So 5 billion applications and devices worldwide are using this, I think, open source SSL implementation. It's written in C. It's designed for embedded systems, which means it'll be very hard to pick up, to patch. Okay. You gotta patch it. Seriously, dude, embedded devices, IoT devices, they're not getting a lot of patches. And if you do have to do a firmware update, that's not something my Aunt Dorothea does. Okay. Or Carl doesn't do firmware updates. Okay. Which means this problem is going to persist. Now, I do want to point out, like, what's the problem here? Does this have a CVSS score? If I had to get, hold on, is there a CVE? If I had to guess, the CVSS score on this is like in this. It doesn't even have a. It does have a CVE. I think this CVE, I'm just going to guess here. I think it has a score of like 6, right? Oh, it doesn't have a value. It says 9.3 on CVSS, whatever this, I don't understand what this is. CVSS 4.0. It says 9.3 critical. Okay. Hold on. Is there a, Let me see if I can do this. I think that this, maybe I misunderstand this. Again, I didn't say this at the beginning. I don't research or prep for any of these. I have no idea what's coming.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Oh, God. Code brew. Let me check out DJ BSEC's EPSS thing. This is a tool DJ BSEC wrote. It's very useful. Low score. You have 0.03% of getting exploited in the next 30 days. It's 10% bad. It's not in the KEV list, which means it's not being actively exploited in the wild. It says it has a 9.3 CVSS score, but here's my thing. It can allow malicious SSL connections to be established. Like, sure, like basically the risk is that you would think that you have a forged certificate. The risk is that you would think you would have a secure connection to a known entity, and in reality you don't. When I think of like embedded devices and whatever, I mean, this is not like, you're not using these certs to like connect to like Google Drive, Dropbox, Signal. Like, you're not like what like, dude, these certificates are on appliances, automotive systems, aerospace, military equipment. I suppose there is some concern of a connection to a forged cert, but like, I don't know. Whenever you, like, for me personally, whenever I think, how bad is this, right? That's what we need to do. How bad is this? Do I care about this as a practitioner? Like, for me, how bad is this? Like, the likelihood is low, right? 0.3%. I will say that the likelihood will increase over time because this is a very difficult thing to fix if it is baked into an embedded system. Like I said, this isn't a Windows patch. This is a pain in the butt patch. So you may not even fix it. What's the impact? I mean, does a threat actor really want to get in between me and my water meter out front? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the real case is here for like nation state level threats. So maybe I'm being ignorant about it, but I just don't think that this is that bad. That's why the CVSS score 9.3. I guess they gave it a high score because technically it can compromise confidentiality and integrity, because with a forged cert, they can manipulate the data and obviously they can see the data. So I don't know. I mean, I like the Wolf. I think the Wolf's cool. And I think this graphic is cool for WolfSSL, but I'm not really vibing on it being like go grab your brown pants because, it's going to be a rough day in the trenches. Is there a patch? No, I mean, there isn't even a patch. Like, what are you supposed to do with this? Organizations using WolfSSL are advised to renew their deployments and apply security updates promptly. What security updates? Okay. Yeah, like all of this is really crappy, dude. Sysadmins managing environments that don't use upstream WolfSSL releases, but use Linux distributions should seek downstream vendor advisories. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Next.
T41 delivers zero detection backdoor. Researchers at Break Glass Intelligence report that China-linked APT41 is deploying a zero-detection Linux backdoor to steal cloud credentials across Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and Alibaba Cloud environments. The malware uses SMTP-based command and control and typo-squatted domains to evade detection while extracting credentials from instance metadata services for lateral movement and privilege escalation. The tooling reflects years of development towards cloud-native attacks, and researchers warn stolen credentials can grant attackers broad access, requiring stronger monitoring, logging, and access controls to contain intrusions.
All right, so APT41 is like Darth Vader. Like, it's just what, and not to say evil. Like, it could be Obi-Wan Kenobi too. Like, APT41 is just like one of those OOG threat actor groups. So OG, it doesn't even have a cool name like Smashing Pumpkins or Guerrilla tag, or you know what I mean? Like it's APT 41. This is like, they're so old that we didn't even have cool naming conventions. We were just like nerds with like square glasses and pocket protectors when APT 41 came on the scene. Now they're using an undetectable backdoor. Like, wait a sec, hold up, man. Wait, I don't even remember what song that's on. It's like hurting my brain right now. But dude, undetectable, like let's pump the brakes. Undetectable. It might be difficult to detect. It may be going undetected at this time, but undetectable. I think Wade Wells is on line 2 and would like to speak to the author of this one. Nothing's undetectable, dude. If it's running on your machine, it's running on your machine. It needs memory. It needs processes. It needs, compute. Like it can't be invisible and run on the machine. Okay. It's targeting Linux-based cloud workloads to steal creds from AWS and others. So they're getting creds. Right, Phil Stafford. It's undetectable, yet here's a report on it. Ooh, it's like saying the invisible man's over there, you know? All right. Again, I haven't said this in a minute, but there's a couple first-timers in chat that are it's worth revisiting this. So APT 41, I made the joke a second ago that like they don't have cool names like Smashing Pumpkins or, Filthy Mop or whatever. But you'll see that it says APT 41, also known as Winty, Wicked Panda, Barium, Silver Dragon, Brass Typhoon. So they do have cool names, but those are other threat intelligence organizations giving those names. So for marketing reasons and for threat intelligence confidence levels, different threat intelligence organizations give their own names to different threat actors. This took me years to figure out and wrap my head around in cybersecurity, which is why I always make it a point to tell people. So if William Bailey is talking about APT 41 and Zemif is talking about Silver Dragon, they are talking about the same group of 4 or 5 Chinese citizens in, Beijing cracking away on a computer. Okay. Like Brass Typhoon is Microsoft's naming convention. Wicked Panda is CrowdStrike's naming convention. Okay. So just know that. All right. All right. Now let's see what they're doing. They're hacking Linux. They're using SMTP port 25 as C2. Anything can be used as C2. It's kind of wild because port 25 is unencrypted, right? So you'll be able to see this clear as day. Why isn't Shodan look at port 25? That doesn't make any sense. My guy, hold on 1 second. Shodan.io, port 25. Hold on. I'm going to log in. This is, I have several. This is Shodan.io. Like, what are we talking about here? Dude, I just searched Shodan for port 25. And as expected, here are all the 4,230,000 endpoints on the internet as of right now that have port 25 open to the internet. So like undetectable port 25. Like what? Sorry. Maybe I'm an ignorant buffoon up here. But like, what are we doing here? All right. The elf binary strip, statically linked, designed for persistence, whatever. So I guess it's undetectable because it carries 0 detections on VirusTotal. Dude, again, my guy, if I may, can I just point something out really quickly? VirusTotal is a signature-based definition malware engine detector, okay? If you don't know, VirusTotal is a really great tool. It's an online resource. I think Google bought them, right? VirusTotal is not independent. Somebody big owns them now. They don't publicize it, but someone big owns them. Hey, KT Shoots, first timer, what's up?
Welcome to the party, pal.
So listen, really quickly, 0 detections on VirusTotal just means that VirusTotal hasn't seen that before. That doesn't mean it's undetectable. Okay, that is like the loosest, most like spin version of undetectable I've seen in a minute for cybersecurity. Second of all, allow me to paint you a picture, okay? Allow me to paint you a picture wicked quick. Number one, if I write a piece of code and save it and it works fine, right? It's a malware, okay? Hold on. That's Wednesday. And then I do a hash on it, okay? Files have hashes. Hashes are one-way math functions that are fingerprints for software, okay? So look at this really quickly. This is Malware Bazaar. This is just a website full of malware. And you'll see here, these are all malware. And for those listening on audio only, I've gone to bazaar.abuse.ch. I'm looking at different malware. Don't screw around with malware if you don't know what you're doing, okay? Don't touch malware unless you know what you're doing. Huntstar, welcome to the party. But you'll see that all of these files have a hash, okay? And it's just, what the hell is this? What are we doing here? Find the objects that only work when plugged into a wall. Okay, so stupid. You'll see all these hashes. I'm showing a piece of malware. Here are all the hashes. This is an Android piece of malware, okay? Let me tell you something really quickly. If I open this Android malware and I modify one single element of it, if I add a carriage return, if I add one comment, if I put a space, if I do anything to this Android file and I recompile it or save it, it will have a different signature. This is why signature-based anti-malware detection engines are terrible and why you have to use behavior-based anti-malware solutions, because it won't work in 2026. It's trivial to change the fingerprint on a piece of on a file, period. Look, David Bianco's Pyramid of Pain. Do you see the bottom? And we're looking at David Bianco's Pyramid of Pain. This is how tough it is for threat actors. You'll notice the bottom of the pyramid. The easiest thing for a threat actor to change is the hash value. All right. So let's bring this first full circle. When you tell me that it's zero detection on virus totals, like, come on, dude, what are we doing here? Like, yes, it has zero detections, but like, it could be that they're modifying every instance of this malware, so it will never have a detection on the virus total. Okay. All right. Of course, this is a good one. APT 41, if you're an academic of malware, if you're an academic of cybersecurity and you like to study threat actors, APT 41 is comprehensive. They do the whole cyber kill chain. They do it well. They have high fidelity tooling. They're a great one to study if you want to study not the best, but like you want to study one that's doing it well from a threat actor perspective. See, yeah. They're going from basic reverse shells to purpose-built cloud cred harvesters with scanner-resistant C2. Get up on that. Someone at APT 41's getting a Jelly of the Month Club membership for Christmas this year. Good work there, people. TLDR, if you're running Linux infrastructure in AWS, you should be mindful of this. Again, if you're running Linux infrastructure in AWS, you are potentially a target for this. At minimum, it's worth looking into this. Secondly, check port 25 for traffic in your SIM logs. It's not encrypted, or it shouldn't be, so you should be able to see what the commands are and the traffic in that port 25. Let's keep going.
Huge thanks to our sponsor, Conveyor. 3 tools to manage customer security reviews is too many. Most teams start with a trust center, bolt on a questionnaire tool, and end up with a knowledge base nobody trusts and a Slack channel full of sales pings anyway. Conveyor replaces all of it. Trust center, questionnaire automation, self-serve for sales, AI-managed knowledge library, it's all one platform. Companies like Atlassian and Zapier already made the switch. See why at conveyor.com.
Z-Myth's always coming at me. Calm down, bruh. Z-Myth. Tell me to calm down. Oh my God. Dude, I can't even believe, like, I can't even wrap my head around. Do you remember when we used to print out MapQuest directions and you'd have like 15 pages? How the hell did we get anywhere before Garmin's and GPS? All right, let's finish strong, y'all.
FBI and Indonesian police dismantle well.
Yeah.
The Federal Bureau of Investigation and Indonesian police dismantled the Well phishing network, arresting its alleged developer and stealing infrastructure tied to more than $20 million in fraud attempts. The Well toolkit functioned as a full-service phishing platform, letting attackers mimic login pages, steal credentials, bypass MFA using adversary-in-the-middle techniques, and resell access to more than 25,000 compromised accounts. Researchers, including Group IB, say the operation supported hundreds of threat actors globally, with activity continuing via encrypted channels even after its marketplace shut down.
Regulators! Mount up.
All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, I know the FBI has been getting a bum rap lately because of its leadership, but let me tell you, not all FBI agents are, created equal, I suppose. And there's a lot of great ones out there. And this group right here, hell yeah. FBI Indonesia taking out a $20 million fraud network. This group, Well, who I've never heard of, was used in global phishing operations, stole thousands of victims' accounts and tried to steal $20 million in fraud. Well, hold on. Tried to attempt $20 million in fraud. What's the actual damage here? So this was a initial access broker, right? So in the cyber criminal underground, different roles have gotten specialized, and there's an entire discipline of people who just get access to resources, whether it's tokens, credentials, access, persistent, like whatever. There's a whole thing, and I guess this group was offering that. So they weren't necessarily hacking people; they were just compromising their creds. Now, this was the Well phishing kit, which was basically a COTS product for criminals. COTS is an acronym for commercial off the shelf, like Microsoft Word is a COTS product. All right. They would just make convincing landing pages. It looks like Dropbox. It looks like Google, whatever. I mean, this is really like just a fancier version of social engineering toolkit. This is great, man. So 25,000 accounts were compromised between 2019 and 2023. That infrastructure has been broken down. This is a win for all of us. As a practitioner, you don't have to do anything. Just know that the FBI has done what they need to do in order to help us be safer. FBI Atlanta Special Agent in Charge, Marlo Graham. Heck yeah, man. Let's give Marlo Graham some yeah, look at this. There she is. Dude, Marlo Graham. Can I just for a minute? I normally do wrecking balls for people getting jobs, but this woman right here in charge of bringing down a $20 million fraud super network in a different country, Marlo Graham, you are a wrecking ball.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Mailbox rule abuse emerges as stealthy threat. Proofpoint researchers report a rise in attackers abusing Microsoft 365 mailbox rules as a stealthy post-compromise tactic, with about 10% of breached accounts in late 2025 seeing malicious rules created within seconds of access. These rules hide alerts, they forward sensitive data, and manipulate email threads to enable fraud like business email compromise, while remaining largely undetected. Because the rules can persist after password resets and be deployed at scale, researchers warn they create durable access and recommend tighter controls on forwarding, MFA, and account monitoring. Bain & Co.
All right. Yeah. Okay. It'd be cool to get Marlo Graham on the channel, right? I'm sure she's busy, but um, okay. So check it out. Misuse of mailbox rules. Oh my God, dude. 1997's on the phone. They want to have a conversation. Native email features to maintain access, Excel data, etc. Dude, this is a huge area that used to be, in my opinion, this used to be like the bee's knees, right? This was like what we would do as threat actors. I mean, as threat, like I used to be a threat actor, Jesus. But like, dude, setting up forwarding rules, setting rules up so like when malicious email comes in, it gets either marked as read or filed away. Essentially making it so the person, the victim, can continue to use their email, but they don't see the emails that the attacker doesn't want them to see. So let's talk about Microsoft 365 rules. Once inside account, a threat actor. So by the way, this is post-exploitation, okay? Post-exploitation. They already are inside your account. They own your account. Let's see what they can do. Forward sensitive emails to external accounts. Yep. Number one, dude, this is a really common one. You should absolutely have a detection in place for when a forward email account gets set up on an account in your environment. Now, that could be difficult at scale if you have 50,000 people or whatever. But the thing is, if you are forwarding emails, even if you change your password and kick a threat actor out, they're still going to get all your inbound email. And then when you reply back and the person replies to you, they'll get the whole chain. So forwarding emails, also, by the way, insider threat. If someone's going to be quitting and they start forwarding their emails to their personal email, that's kind of an indicator. Hiding security alerts, password resets, suspicious activity, 100%, dude. So they'll set rules up that look for, like, are you trying to change your password, and just delete the email. If you're actively looking at your email, you'll see it come in, then you'll see the rule run and delete it. This is a great opportunity to educate your end users on just, hey, really quickly, if you see something like this when you're looking at your email, notify us immediately, okay? They also say intercepting and manipulating ongoing email conversations. This is business email compromise all day, all day. What a threat, I'll just say this and then move on. What a threat actor will do is they'll get into a financial analyst's account and they'll just sit there and watch the emails go back and forth, not do anything. And then right before payment is about to go out, they will send a message and say, hey, really quick, we put the wrong account number on the invoice. Please wire the money to this account. And it'll look legit. Victim organization will send the money to the wrong bank account, and then the threat actor's in the wind.
Vulnerability exposed. A hacker from CodeWall accessed an internal AI tool used by Bain & Company by exploiting credentials exposed in public code, getting visibility into thousands of chatbot conversations tied to client analysis. The breach took minutes and could have enabled impersonation of employees via exposed tokens, though Bain says no sensitive client data or core systems were at risk, and the issue was quickly fixed. This follows similar recent vulnerabilities at McKinsey & Company and Boston Consulting Group. OpenAI.
All right, here's the deal. Again, for the sake of time, I'm going to speed run this. If you don't know, Bain & Company, there's consulting professional services like Deloitte, Accenture, Booz Allen, where I worked for a number of years, that are like really good, quote unquote, prestigious consulting firms. Okay. Do your own research, come up with your own opinion. Obviously I worked there. I'm not saying it because I worked there. I'm just saying like that they're well respected. Okay. But then there's another tier of consulting firms that are super exclusive and they only hire like Ivy Leaguers, and they're, it's a lot of people wearing like $1,000 suits, but then eating out of cardboard in conference rooms at 10 p.m. because they're working like dogs. That's McKinsey, Bain & Company, Boston Consulting Group. You may not even heard of those because they only service like the Fortune 100 companies, big ticket items. Okay. They're just saying that Bain's internal AI tool got breached. Okay. McKinsey got breached. Dude, they offer consulting services. AI is definitely a threat to white collar jobs. And if I was McKinsey and Bain, I'd be quite concerned because for what they're charging per hour for their services, Claude can get you 80% there. The final thing I'll say really quickly is that just as a fun fact, if you ever wanted to know why executives get paid ridiculous amounts of money and bonuses and golden parachutes and stuff, I think it's McKinsey you can thank for that. McKinsey executive pay. Hold on one second. Executive pay history. I think it's them. Yeah. McKinsey and Company significantly shaped modern executive pay through arch patent studies in the 50s that pushed for higher executive bonuses, contributing to a massive rise in CEO compensation. So if you've ever wondered why CEOs get paid ridiculous amounts of money, there's a history there. Just Google arch patent McKinsey executive pay, and you'll go down a rabbit hole. Trust me.
Mac apps need updates. OpenAI said its Mac OS apps require updates after a supply chain attack compromised the widely used Axios library.
To Z-Myth's point, no wonder they get hired by the big firms. Yes, that is part of it. That is part of it, Z-Myth. If I hire you and you're likely to come back and say that I need to make more money, I like you. I'll bring you back next year too.
Which was briefly infected by a North Korean group after hijacking a maintainer's accounts. A GitHub workflow used for app signing downloaded the malicious package, prompting OpenAI to revoke and rotate certificates despite finding no evidence of data access or system compromise. The company fixed the misconfiguration, is working with Apple to prevent abuse, and warned older macOS app versions will stop working once the certificate is fully revoked.
All right, I love this. There's nothing for you to do. OpenAI is handling this. The Axios NPM breach the other day. OpenAI has had some issues with the macOS application to it. You do have to update your macOS OpenAI client. You gotta patch it. You should be doing that anyways. I don't use OpenAI. I'm Anthropic all day long. But if you are using OpenAI or you have it in your environment, you gotta patch it. I will say that this is a nice. I'm shout out to OpenAI. They are being proactive about rotating credentials and doing all this in abundance of caution instead of saying, oh, it doesn't look like we're hacked, we're just going to let it fly. Very nicely done. That is a best practice. I will tell you, when we're talking about cybersecurity framework maturity, and you look at like NIST CSF 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5's the most, like this is the sign of an organization that's like NIST 3.0 or higher. You don't typically do this unless you have your ducks in a row and you can sustain this level of impact because they're rotating creds. It's painful, okay? But very nicely done, OpenAI. I still don't like you for reasons, but very nice. Again, just as a reminder, if you are running that Axios library in your environment and you did run that vulnerable version, you probably want to consider rotating your creds and certs as well, because there could be compromise. It wasn't necessarily compromised to the certs. It was just they basically had like super access to your environment. Okay. All right. Yeah. Roswell, you guys dropping things. Here we go. All right, guys, this was Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. 370 of you here throughout the day. Thank you on a Tuesday, April 14th. Hopefully you enjoyed the Tidbits Tuesday and the car trips. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Don't go anywhere because you are about to get tuned into the Cyber Career Hotline. That's right, the Cyber Career Hotline. The Cyber Career Hotline is designed for you to get questions answered. Dial in and level up. You will be treated to the professional development musings of one cosmic cowboy. He's the Wolfman of cybersecurity, and he's going to be bringing the heat to you. I leave you in the capable hands of Jesse Johnson. Jesse, have a great show. Everybody, be well. I'll see you tomorrow. Also, today at 9:30 a.m., Jesse and team, Kathy Chambers Media is going to be going live with Authentically Cyber, talking about episode 3, Cybersecurity Wasn't the Plan. A mentor changed everything. So stay tuned for that as well. I'm Jerry, your chat. Until next time, stay secure. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every week. Listen, I'm not going to play the jaw-jacking segment. We got to make a cyber career hotline. Jesse, you ready to rock? Oh, you look good, Jesse. I like you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jesse Johnson, your cyber career hotline host. Let's go.
Yo, yo, yo. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you are. Welcome to the Cyber Career Hotline. The line is open. I hope you're doing well out there, YouTube world. What's going on, everyone? Yeah, we got some chat firing up, cooking. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Got some good vibes. Let me know how my microphone sounds. Is it crisp? Is it a little thin? Does it need some dialing up, some tuning in? Wow, this light is a lot brighter than I was expecting. What is going on, everybody? Here we go. It's Jesse Drink. Hey, Legrat 6678. Good to see you, Legrat. Good morning, Kathy Chambers. Tech Grunt. What's up, ZMF? So many amazing people that over the last 3 years or so, I've actually had the opportunity to meet quite a few people in chat at various cybersecurity conferences, namely Wild West Hack and Fest in Deadwood, South Dakota. And then last year, Simply CyberCon in South Carolina, another life-changing con that if you get the chance to, whether you got to drive, beg, borrow, or steal, make sure you get out to South Carolina. It's going to be epic this year for Simply CyberCon. Come hang out with us. Random skills. What are the rules for the hotline? Well, in all seriousness, the rules are just put a question in there with a question mark with the letter Q, and hopefully I'll see it, or somebody, if there's a mod that is actively working the chat, could put the question. That has to do with your cybersecurity career. So I'm probably a mid-level, mid to later IT and early mid career cybersecurity professional on my journey, helping build up a vulnerability and threat exposure program with a company, which has been absolutely epic. So drop your questions in chat about your journey breaking in. Maybe it's leveling up into another part of IT or cybersecurity. Or if you're just not sure and you want to jaw jack, you want to talk music, concerts, cons, that's what we're here for. Ask me anything. Let's talk cybersecurity. Let's talk life. Let's talk football. Basketball. Nuggets are in the Western Conference playoffs. It'll be epic. All right, let's go and get into some questions before I get sidetracked and find myself sounding more like a sports radio person versus a cyber career person. Let's get some music rolling too, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Boom. Let me know if it's too loud, how we do. Hey, Jesse, do you remember when you hit that deer? I do remember when I hit a deer about 3 years ago. Wild West Hack and Fest. I was taking Dr. Jerry Auger back to the airport, and on the way back, I looked up from the clock to see how much time I had to get my other friends to the airport. And as I looked up, in my headlights was a massive buck standing there, and I hit it at about 60 miles an hour, totaled the car, and the entire cybersecurity community was able to rally around Casually Joseph and Dr. Jerry, and they put together, a couple $1,000, which paid for a rental. It was quite the ordeal. I ended up being safe, but yeah, totaled the car and killed the deer coming back from Wild West Hack and Fest. I see some Nuggets love, some Warriors, some Pistons love. When it comes to NFL, I am a football fan. This is where we ask career questions. KT Shoots. This is where we ask career questions about breaking in, leveling up, maybe some resume ideas, approaches to getting experience. Dr. Jerry would say I'm an example of a person who really, I kind of hacked my way through the hiring process and found myself in a really good position to work in the cybersecurity industry, in somewhat of a non-traditional way. And my goal was always to provide insight and conversations and considerations around other people breaking into the IT field, inspired by folks like Zach Hill, Dr. Jerry. Not Loud Jeep, do you prefer resumes with design and character or simple and boring? Do you think we will ever get away from the current ATS systems that auto-filter people with talent? So I've sat with a few hiring managers over the last few years, and they'll say, can you come go look through resumes with me? The more decorated, at least here in the States, from what I've seen, the more decorated and fancy a resume is, the quicker I've seen a hiring manager close it. So they get pre-filtered. And the reason they get pre-filtered, and I don't think we'll ever get away from that, and the reason is because there's such an influx, there's such a pool of candidates to get one or two positions, that you would be spending inordinate amounts of time and resources in personnel for a human being to filter all of those resumes. And considering that a good majority of those resumes probably won't make it to the next phase in the hiring process, to pay that kind of resource for somebody just to, stamp not accepted and put it into another bin is a waste of time and productivity, right? And at the end of the day, when we look at business decisions, cybersecurity, posturing, when it comes to our information security, whatever it is, it always comes down to that business bottom line. How is it going to impact the business? How is it going to impact paychecks at the end of the day? And so we will probably never get away from the pre-screening of resumes. And one of the reasons I like to keep it simple is because I want to convey maximum value. The resume is nothing more than it's an interest profile match, right? Hey, I'm looking for this person to come work in my life, right? My life being this job. And I'm looking for these set of skills, credentials, and things that I like to see in an employee. Here's a list of suitors that I'm going to bring into my life, right? And so you're just trying to see if you're a good fit. After the resume gets through to that initial interview, right? This is where the resume really doesn't matter anymore, and it's more of just talking points. This is where you have to be you. This is where the conversations and being able to speak to real world cyber incidents that maybe you just see at the Daily Saber Threat Brief. Maybe they're incidents you've seen in other IT fields, or it's in your home labbing, in your experience. And so, believe it or not, the ATS systems that I've seen sometimes won't filter necessarily. So a lot of these resumes will get human eyes on them, then they'll be run through a filter. A lot of times they're not. The format, if it's a little off, we're still looking for a fit and keywords. But just putting a bunch of keywords into your resume and setting it, hoping that works, for most people doesn't work. I've really found that having that networking connection before the resume even hits the desk or hits the computer, whatever, the inbox, having that connection helps a ton. Silver Cypher, I just got my first entry-level IT position. I'm excited to start my career. I'm starting at the bottom at a tier 1 help desk, but happy to have my foot in the door. I think that question mark's supposed to be an exclamation point, and that is epic. Congrats on the new role. Berg SSJ, I just got my Sec Plus. Congrats on the Sec Plus. I'm trying to get a part-time help desk or a similar type job, transitioning from insurance into IT. I want to get into cybersecurity. What shirt should I focus on next? That's a great question. Berg SSJ, I would not focus on certs. I would focus on getting any and all hands-on practical experience and build your professional relational network, build it up and make it as well-rounded as possible. And at the same time, get as much hands-on experience. And you go, well, how do you do that? Well, that's simple. Maybe you think you want to be a penetration tester. Well, check out the Hack Smarter Labs presented by Tyler Ransby and Kairosec, right? Maybe it's just general IT. Well, check out IT career questions with Zach Hill, and you can go back and look through his videos on breaking into just the IT industry and building computers and fixing and the tech support side of things. Show up to the daily cyber threat brief every single Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. and understand how the real world works, right? So I would not get any more certifications, and I would focus on getting hands-on experience and building out your relational profile so that when it is time, you've got people and connections, healthy, strong connections within the environment. Hey, Ellipsis, question. We are building an internal red team as our next step in building our vulnerability management program. How would you go about knowing the team? How would you go about knowing the team? So basically, how would I know about, okay, so the question I understand coming from Ellipsis is they're building an internal red team for the vulnerability management program. How can we actually vet some of the candidates that are coming in for the OffSec red team if they're inexperienced? You think you probably get that within the scoping conversations? I would be having conversations with the director of those red teams and just being completely honest. I think that's a great question. What do we think, fellow red teamers in chat? Tyler or anybody else, professional red teamer, how would you go about vetting that kind of experience? I've never been at the top level where I'm having to vet an onboarding red team into my environment. When I work alongside other red teams, I assume that we're all hired in at a certain experience level and we're all experts to a certain level in our own field. And so I personally don't question it, and I trust the process unless there's a reason to not trust it. That's because I'm a gear in the cog, right? In the giant machine. Face Doyle, policing to SOC. I was in law enforcement for a short time myself, working on the street. And then before that, I worked in juvenile corrections. So good on you, man. Thanks for your service. Policing to SOC. Got certs, learning Splunk, but it feels like playing with an abacus while AI takes over. How do you stay motivated? Ooh, that's a great question. I don't stay motivated. There are days where I'm completely unmotivated. There are days where I don't want to do cybersecurity or vulnerability management or have to stay up to date with the latest and the greatest exploit, or I don't want to build out my network or have a conversation. Motivation comes and goes. That's just a fact of life. Sometimes you're motivated to work out, sometimes you're not. I would find discipline, right? Within that discipline comes freedom. So get into being the CEO of yourself and understand that everything you're doing towards your career should be something to put into your tool belt and add value to either the current employer or a possible future employer. That's what keeps you motivated. Understand that you're gonna have to work with artificial intelligence. You have to work with generative AI, agentic AI. Understand how to use it for you as a force multiplier. Have those conversations with the people that you want to work with. So motivation comes and goes. You got to find your why. If your why is I want to make 6 figures in 90 days, that's cool. I respect that hustle, but that might not be your result. You might not get that. So what is your why? Your why needs to keep you motivating. Your why, right, should be the biggest component of your motivation, and understand that motivation comes in ebbs and flows. Sometimes you're super stoked, sometimes you're not, but the discipline and understanding the end goal of whatever it is, that has to be your motivation. Without that, the motivation is going to go, you're going to tank and you're going to say, oh, I give up. It's too hard to break in. It's too hard to level up. I'm done. Stay disciplined, just like you did in law enforcement, just like you did in the academy, just like you did when it came to having your OODA loop. Having an OODA loop in the hiring market's the same thing. Having your OODA loop in resume building with anything. And for some of you that are new to that acronym, observe, right, your circumstances, orient yourself, right? OODA, O-O-D-A, decide, observe, orient, decide, and then act. Right, now I'm going to act. I'm going to make these next steps. I observe the landscape. Okay, AI is really taking over. We're starting to see people pull back a little bit. How can I continue to level up? Fundamentals are still fundamentals. Understanding TCP networking and understanding the fundamentals of how computers work still hasn't changed. So you still need to get those fundamentals under your belt. Being able to communicate technical concepts to a non-technical person or in a boardroom or at an executive level or have hard conversations, those things don't go away. Your soft skills don't go away that are needed. So continue to refine those hard technical skills, refine your soft skills, and understand the why you're getting in at the end of the day, and let that be your motivation. I don't know if that's encouraging or discouraging. I hope it brings encouragement to somebody who's kind of waning. Maybe their motivation isn't where they wanted it to be. LeGrat just realized that today's the 114th anniversary of the Titanic hit an iceberg. Yeah, tomorrow's my birthday. So the Titanic technically sunk on April 15th. My birthday is tomorrow. I am 45 years young and loving every minute of it. Follow-up question from Ellipsis. 4 members are already selected, but none have OPSEC red team experience. Reviewing some auto tools, but they can't replace true red teaming. No, for me, if I knew that coming in, and don't want to give professional advice, this is just like a legal disclaimer, I would want to put a pause on that personally. But then again, I don't know the big picture of what the entire end goal of the operation is. I've learned within careers that the initial question you're presented, there's usually layers to it. So I'm not 100% sure on your organization, the infrastructure and your end goal, but that is something you may want to put a pause on just as a consideration, is the level of experience, right? You don't want your heart surgeon, a group of heart doctors that you're doing open heart surgery, to have no experience and only use the auto tools. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Face oil. For the AI bit, Space Tacos. Hello, friend. Good to see you. Isn't it a good motivator to become an effective prompt master? Absolutely. Absolutely. And understand, at least for me, using AI as a force multiplier. Already having an idea, already having the ability to critically think, analyze, communicate, but then just saying, how can we make it even 2x, right? 3x. So prompt master, getting the right information. I think it was Einstein that said this. You don't have to know everything, but man, knowing where to find that information or how to get the information, that is crucial. So if you can understand how to get the information, build a hands-on lab. Yep, build a hands-on lab. And there's multiple ways to do that now. You can spin it up on your own machine in a virtualized environment, something like use Proxmox, or you could use any hypervisor virtualization tool. You can spin it up that way. You can spin up a lab in the cloud using AWS or Azure resources. And at the same time, maybe you could learn infrastructure as code, even if that's using a chatbot to help you develop and lay out an entire, you could put a small network, maybe invest in yourself. Say, you know what, instead of buying this coffee, instead of buying whatever thing I don't need, I'm going to invest in 3 months of cloud space, cloud resources. I'm going to put money into myself, and I'm going to spin up a small network using infrastructure as code, and I'm going to open part of it to the public-facing internet. I'm going to build up an open source free SIM of some kind. Maybe I'll even do some automation, and then I'm going to pen test myself, and I'm going to let this run for 3 months. And at the end of the day, I'm going to put together a report. I'm going to put together a CC report, a pen test report, maybe a vulnerability management report. And this is just to gain a holistic idea of how cybersecurity works, right? You're understanding the flow of traffic. And at the end of that 3 months, you're going to have built up an environment. You're going to have seen real world attacks. You're going to have done the research, the Googling, the YouTubing, and understanding how to triage, mitigate, how to isolate, how to contain your environment. You're going to understand how to have conversations. Then you're going to do the reporting side. Maybe you're going to use a chatbot or LLM or some kind of agentic AI to help you with your report. And then you're going to start building this repository of experience for yourself, being the CEO of you. So now you've got a full automated network that you invested in yourself, and then you can spin it down at some point. But now you have this experience of understanding not just the beginning, the ones and the zeros, but then putting a report together that's executive facing so that you can take real world business impact implications. It's kind of the same word. You can take real world business impact into your interviews. Oh, I think getting the hands-on experience on your own, if you can't get the job, is so important. Random Skills says, what do I think of using Docker to build out your environment and use it for all of? Absolutely. Oh, dude, using Docker, Kubernetes, clustered, understanding containerization, understanding IT at scale. There's one thing in understanding IT in your own house or at a fundamental level, but now let's try and scale that up. What do large scale IT infrastructures look like? What is that zero trust architecture, right? Dr. Jerry Auger said it best. Hackers aren't hacking in, dropping leak exploits. They're walking in the front door. They're logging in. We're now seeing as identity is that piece, right? That's our new perimeter, is the identity. And so understanding identity and access management, zero trust architectures, all those key words, but at the end of the day, it's still the human. It's still the human element. There's three things we can hack, right? People, processes, and technologies. That has not changed since the dawn of time. Those are the three things that a threat actor can hack. And that's basically it. As a person, the processes involved, or a technology. And so that hasn't changed. Joey Karen, I've spent 9 years in IT, got Sec Plus, CISA Plus, CISSP, have done TryHackMe and HomeLab. I've tried breaking into cybersecurity for a few years now. Any advice how to finally just get that job? I hear that from folks. My suggestion would be if you can afford it, is to continue to be patient with yourself, stay flexible, and try and find ways to make yourself invaluable to a company. Well, that's kind of vague. That's stupid. Think of things that are going on within our environment. Think of ways that you can make yourself invaluable to a company. Maybe it's your soft skills. Maybe it's the way you do something different than somebody else. You have to find something that makes you stand out. That might require some soul searching. And feel free to reach out to me if you want to go back and forth on ideas. Same thing with, I think it was Doyle Face, law enforcement. If you want to talk about going from law enforcement into cyber, happy to chat those things. I wasn't a cop for super long, but that's what my major is in. So, question, this will probably be our last one. After earning my CompTIA trifecta, what are some budget red blue team certifications I would recommend? I'm disenfranchised with OSCP and SANS. Well, I understand being disenfranchised. Okay, I do understand that. So if you're completely disenfranchised, and I like the guitar on your avatar, it looks like a Martin. Looks like a Martin guitar player. So I too can be disenfranchised with CompTIA, OSCP. At the end of the day, you got to play the game sometimes, right? And so you got your CompTIA, get your foot in the door. Look at maybe the TCM security, the practical penetration tester cert. We're seeing more and more of that on job requirements. Look at Hack Smarter Labs for blue team certifications, hands-on blue team skills certification. You can look at the anti-siphon training. They've got a SOC skills course that comes with a certificate of completion. That's a real world and a big name in the industry. Also, what was the other one? Blue team BTL, blue team level 1, BTL1 and BTL2. Those are hands-on blue team labs. They may not be widely recognized, but they do provide some hands-on experience. Oh, that'll be the last comment, and then I got to go because I do not want to miss Kathy Chambers. What's up, Kathy? I love you. Can't wait to see you. Just because the title does not say cyber or security in it doesn't mean it's not a security role. Don't let titles get you hammed up. My boss said that my title can be literally whatever it wants. I don't actually have explicitly security or cyber mentioned in my title at all. And I work knee deep in cybersecurity, 8 to 10 hours a day. Rock and roll. Thanks for dropping it in chat. Kimberly can fix it. Thanks for hanging out with me on this wonderful Tuesday. I hope you have an excellent day. I got to roll. I'm going to drop some graphics. Let's get out of here. Jump over to Kathy Chambers. Until next time, stay secure. Take care of each other.